Yes, thank you, Unity Band. Almost like being in love. Good morning. So glad that you are here. What a gorgeous day out there. I hope you're up to see that sunrise this morning. I love when the sun colors come up at 8. I can see it there. We do have coffee, self-serve over there in the counter, so help yourself at any time. If you're watching us at home, I hope you have a pot on or whatever it is that is your desire in the morning. If you need prayer support, our prayer team is very active. We have a prayer box here in the sanctuary, or you can send us online through the website, or you can email me or call the church office. Updates on what's happening, you can find them on social media, our websites. If you're new to Unity, would love to hear from you. We have connection cards back over on the credenza. If you didn't receive one when you came in, if you're online, please drop me a line. And also you can chat online there. Jane's not here today. I don't know if somebody's on chat. Oh, there you are. Okay. So Jane will say hello to you. She's just a really good virtual host. And I also wanted to say, to you people that are online with us, we do have services for online participants. It's not like just going to the movie theater. So we are here to pray with you. If you need some spiritual counseling, which is a short-term counseling about a specific problem, maybe 3 sessions. And also if you want to become a member, we are starting now to have virtual members. So just to know that you are part of our community, whether you're there or whether you're here. We're going to begin setting the tone with this beautiful invocation written by our own Lucille Olson.
Great Spirit, holy source of light, let your light shine bright. Shine with all our hearts and minds so we reflect the purpose of our soul. May your love unfold. May your peace within our hearts abide. It's time now for the lion to lie down with the lambs. May we find the peace of God, the heart of your I am. May true love and meaning every human find. May your light shine brightly forth in every heart and mind. Oh, great Spirit, holy source of light, let your light shine bright, illuminating all our lives so we reflect the magnitude of love, below and so above. May love and peace within our hearts abide.
Just breathe that in as we set that intention for this morning. Our mission is to spiritually awaken to our oneness with God, with each other, and with all creation. And this comes from a mission of seeing a world powerfully transformed through this vision of a shared spiritual awakening, all movements, not that there's one right path, but many paths to the one God, the one presence. So we like to affirm together. The enlightenment of the Buddha shines within us. The compassion of the Christ moves through us. The power of Jehovah strengthens and guards us. The presence of Allah surrounds and guides us. Wherever we are, the Tao is, and all is God. We like to pray for our neighbors, which is anybody else on this planet. Boy, there's a lot happening in the world. Comes to mind, it's Martin Luther King Day tomorrow. And what a great impetus he gave to the civil rights movement. And I think all of us get those little chills. I have a dream. I have a dream. And also holding all those that are in recovery in California. They've just had, hopefully the last weekend for a while, of this deluge of the atmospheric river. And of course, they're recovering from droughts, of mudslides and all that, so we hold them in our hearts. The airlines, God bless them, have had a couple challenging week, shall we say. So we bless the computers, and you can put your own computer into that. I find blessing mine helps before I go. And all those people traveling, all those people that work in the industries, David. Yeah, it's just been a time for them. And we are hitting our country's debt limit on Thursday, so we can hold that idea of prosperity, flow, divine order, cooperation among all of our politicians, just lift all of it up from the dark throes of chaos into that brighter light of harmony. And also, somebody in Maine won $1.35 billion. Billion. So, okay, from that whole thing, let's just close our eyes for a moment, and I want you to feel that in your heart. Everything from the challenges of the climate, of the economic system, to winning $1.35 billion. Wow, that is a human experience. That is the unfoldment of life in its many, many forms. And we, as spiritual travelers, look to find the divine in each and every situation. And in it we see that there is a presence of God, there is a presence of harmony, there is a presence of learning and growing and evolving. And so we hold that truth of strength in every person, whatever their experience is right now. We hold that truth of compassion and of ultimate good working in and through every situation, that wherever there is a struggle, that there is an impetus to grow through it, that wherever there is a blessing, that there is an impetus to bless it and allow it to grow even more in our world. For this truth, the presence of God in each and every moment, each and every situation, each and every individual, we say thank you, thank you, thank you, and so it is. Amen. And our prayer for us, USCL, for this new year, hang firm with me. In this new year, I pray to live deeply with purpose, to live freely with detachment and wisely with humility, to live justly with compassion and lovingly with fidelity. In mindful awareness and full of enthusiasm, I live gratefully with generosity. I hold this vision and daily renew it in my heart, becoming ever more one with God, each other, and all creation. Okay, a little time to discuss at the table. This is a stretch this morning. What do you like best about yourself? Oh, yeah, I knew this was going to be an uncomfortable one. What do you like best about yourself? And you'll hear some music and we can stand and start shaking things up a bit. Tough one, huh?
Go first.
I think I like that I'm learning to listen more and better quality listening. What I like best, that I know that I don't know.
That's huge. Some people, okay. I guess for me, since I was just a really small kid, I hope this doesn't sound like I'm pumping myself up, but I've always just really liked to help people.
You got the helper gene.
Yep.
That's a wonderful thing.
I don't know if it was Mr. Rogers' influence or what. Just that get a ton of pleasure out of, joy out of that.
And maybe you were wired that way.
I think I was.
I mean, there's a lot of helper genes in the Unity people. I
think you're right.
I see this a lot.
Yeah.
But isn't it hard to say what you like best about yourself? I hear all these cultural things that say, no, that's ego, that's pride, yada,
I know
yada.
that that's true because it's been a consistent thing with me my whole life.
Yeah.
So I know it's not just...
And not just you. Unworthiness is the biggest thing we deal with.
No kidding.
Okay, well, should we raise this thing up with a little music here?
And this is an earworm, so we have to...
Yep.
And also very high energy.
Yeah, you
So
might want to
let's
stand.
Pump everybody up. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Casey Miller, your platform assistant for today. Our daily word from our friends at Unity Publications is world peace, inspired by the prophet Isaiah. Those of steadfast mind, you keep in peace because they trust you. Around the world, so many souls are joining us in prayer for peace. While the news may give more attention to points of conflict, there is a striving and yearning in the human heart for peace. Our prayer supports that desire and strengthens the bonds of love that lead to greater harmony. We begin our affirmation of world peace with a soft and open heart. We are comforted as we realize the advances the world's people have made over the generations to live together harmoniously. We make an effort to live more peaceful lives and bridge the gaps of understanding between ourselves and those around us. We focus our attention on shared desire, a peaceful world of cooperation and goodwill. This is our heartfelt prayer. Let us affirm together. I rest my heart in the peace of God. Tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King once said, "I say to you that our goal is freedom." And I believe we are going to get there because however much she strays away from us, the goal of America is freedom. And Herbert Hoover said, "Freedom is the open window through which pours the sunlight of the human spirit and human dignity." This is one of our core values, freedom for ourselves and others. Let us affirm our core value together. We champion each individual's freedom to become a full expression of spirit. Today, following Sunday service, Reverend Sharon is offering the Unity 101 class, which explores the Unity movement as well as our local center. This is a great class for anyone new to Unity or just interested in the history of the movement. This class is a requirement for anyone wishing to become a member of Unity Center.
We're going to hold the class here.
Oh, class will be here in January. Oh, Sanctuary, January. Today, Sanctuary. Here after service today. We'll get there. Unity offers several classes during the week on Zoom. Check our website for more information. Sundays at 9:30, Unity offers Sunday Adult Learning Time, what we call SALT. Next Sunday, SALT welcomes Amy Molitor to introduce us to EFT, the emotional freedom technique that anyone can use. Starting the last Sunday of this month, Unity is experimenting with offering a Sunday euchre tournament during the winter. If you're a euchre player, plan on playing and be sure to invite your friends. Save the date. Coming February 10th, Unity is holding a Valentine's dance with a live band under the direction of Jeff English. Your $20 ticket includes live swing music and catered food. Unity is a tithing community. Each year you are invited to nominate local charitable organizations which spiritually bless you and inspire you by the work they do. At the end of January, we will vote for our choices to receive a portion of our tithes each quarter. The 3 organizations who receive the highest number of votes will each receive donations for 3 months. All the other nominees will receive a portion of our tithes for the 4th quarter of 2023. Nomination forms are available on the credenza and on our website. You may place your completed form in the box on the credenza or email them to Reverend Sharon. More information is also available on our website. There are pamphlets on the table and information on our website about all of our upcoming events, including our weekly Zoom classes. If you have questions or would like to sign up for the weekly e-news, leave a message with the church office by phone or email. And now it's my pleasure to bring up Matt Bliton to share some special music with us.
And thank you. It's wonderful to be here and be with these guys. Part of the fun is the way they talk to each other before everybody else is here. And I like to bring new music. On the other hand, I wanted to play one of my favorite things to play, and also thinking that people might want to sing along. Even if you don't want to, you probably will anyway, because it's a great tune by James Taylor. You can play the game, you can act out the part, though you know it wasn't written for you.
people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel.
Thank you so much. Greg, thanks so much for coming up. Danielle and I took a workshop yesterday on a thing called spirit groups, and talking about our group, and you just have that flow of filling in, and we share our skills. It's not about sitting on rules. It's about being a community together, and that's what I love about the feeling here. We just really, there's this, we don't all have it all, but all of us have some of it, and together we have it all. We're doing really well in this. Beginning of the year, I always like to go back to fundamentals, so I've been looking at the 5 basic principles for years, but my new thing this year is the 5 basic practices. Like, it's not enough to just know it. We need to find a way to be able to practice it. How do we breathe life into it? How do we make this meaningful? It is not meaningful if it's only in our head. It's only meaningful if we can live it. So last week we talked about the first principle, God is, one power and one presence, God the good. And as a practice for the week, I suggested things you might do, practicing seeing God in the world around you, seeing people as God with skin on. Surrounded by God, right? And practicing altars everywhere, because an altar is where you make a sacrifice. Sacrifice means you make it sacred. So if you see that little squirrel nest as an altar, you are really recognizing the divine within that squirrel nest is a sacred space, is a sacred altar, if you will. So today we're moving on to I am. Really in unity there's only one principle, God is. There's only one power and one presence. The rest of them just explain what that means. And this is the toughest one for me, the second one, I am. And how do we live this as a practice? So the second principle says, if there's only one power and presence, therefore, I'm part of it. There has to be a spark of divinity within me. Somehow it's much easier to hold that for other people than for ourselves. So this is one that I know I'll be practicing it a lot forever, for probably the rest of my life. And to think that we are made of the same stuff as stars. See, this is where intellectually you could know this. At the moment of the Big Bang, everything that was created was put into motion. We were part of that Big Bang, all that stuff. And we were part of that beautiful sunrise this morning. It was, and I kept trying to think, wow, that's part of me, I'm part of it. Getting there. We're also the same as fungi and wind. We're that fungi, that grows in the dark. We're also the wind that moves unabated. We're part of the skunks with the same stuff as skunks and eagles. I get the full spectrum. Little tiny ants and gigantic elephants, briars and roses. God isn't just in what we call the good stuff. It's not, good and bad is a relative term. Knowing that God is in all of it and we are part of that all. So really to get that divine connection, this incredible web of creation. And it's a huge concept to understand. It's even a huger concept to start living it in our life. One of my favorite scenes from cartoons is in Alice in Wonderland when the caterpillar goes, "Who are you? Who are you?" And boy, we ask ourselves that question all the time. Sometimes it's who are you to think that you should be able to do this? Sometimes it is, who are you? Who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose in life? And back in the ancient times, the Delphi oracle was know thyself. Socrates often talked about this. We need to know ourselves before we can do anything else. And I think it's not knowing ourselves, it's accepting ourselves. The only part of ourselves we don't know are the parts we don't want to accept. I mean, let's face it. We got a real good cabinet back there that we shut away those old files in and throw away the key. Yeah. Not only accept, but to celebrate, to embrace ourselves, to recognize ourselves. Recognize yourself in the sunrise. Recognize yourself in that bowl of mushrooms, whatever that might be. The idea of the nobility of humility is something you hear about in all the religions, like in Buddhism. Buddhism, you might think that they really put down our humanness because it talks about dukkha, the suffering of humanity. But Buddha says you can awaken. Once we awaken and release that attachment, then we no longer have the suffering. So Buddha left that kind of teaching that, within this there's always that greater stance. That's the beauty of humanity. There is this possibility to awaken. And then the Unitarian Church, in their side principles, their first principle is remember your inherent worth and dignity. Remember your inherent worth and dignity. And we all have this thing about working about our worth. Somewhere along the lines we were told to keep it down. Pride is, one of those awful sins. And it's interesting, the Unitarian Church, just like I say we have one principle and all the rest support it, they have their first principle, everything else supports that too, about human dignity in the things that they teach. So we see these patterns within our different, I don't even want to call them religious, but different thought patterns that we pick up to study, to work on together about worth and our place in our relationship. Martin Luther King one time said there are 3 dimensions to life. He said there's the length of our life, which is our relationship to ourselves. Wow. The length of our life, relationship to ourselves. There is the breadth of our life, which is our relationship to our community, who we're sitting next to this morning, our neighbors around the world. And then there is the height of our relationship, and that is a relationship to what you call the transcendent. Don't get hung up on the word, whether it's God or Allah or whatever that word might be for you, or universe or love. That which is greater, was eminent within and transcendent above all other things. So what is our relationship to that greater whole? So this idea of the length of our life and the height of our life, the relationship between self and God. Charles Fillmore said, man has formed in his mind a far-off God who talks to him from some high mountain in invisible space. By thus looking afar for his God, he ignores the spark of divinity shining in his own being. Wow, so if we don't get this concept of God down, what happens is we start diminishing ourselves. And I got thinking about light this morning, this whole idea of the spark of divinity, this idea of light. There's a common saying, love and light. And I think we look at light because light is the fastest thing that we know of. To us, it seems instantaneous, even though we have this measurement to it. And so trying to get to something that's infinite, that light is probably the closest thing that we in our minds can intellectualize about. So learning to see the light in ourselves is learning to see that thing that is so close to the infinite. So how do we start putting this into practice? There's an old book called Take Command by Vera Dawson Tate. And she said, of course, of God we can say all is good. Of ourselves we can say we are working to prepare ourselves to bring forth the good already prepared by God. So if we get into that understanding that God is good, absolute good in our world, all that is, we know we're not there yet, but that we can say we're preparing ourselves we know it's there, we just need to allow it to come forth. Just need to allow it. Get out of the way. Take the dam off. So, first idea here, practicing our length, owning our great I am. When Moses asked God what his name was, God said, I am. And that idea of I am that I am, the I am is a blank check we get that says who we are. And very often we squander that, right? We're not conscious of what we put after I am. So how do we see ourselves? I love this picture. There's a core and there's an apple in the mirror. a full apple. Sometimes we see ourselves as the core when our true reflection is the fullness of the apple. Think about that. We see ourselves limited, spent, not enough, perhaps, when in truth, we have it all. We have it all. We're just not, we're just not quite there yet in expression. You know, the computers, there was a hack that went around this week from one of our soloists asking for an Amazon gift card. I almost fell for it. Until they asked for $250. I go, no, I know they wouldn't ask me for that much money. But our IM gets hacked just like our computers. It gets hacked by our own thoughts. If we were to take a recording of what we say in the course of a day and write it out, how proud would we be of all the things that we put after I am? I'm so tired. I'm so stuck on this. How many times do we say, I am filled with life. I am feeling so great. I am, the winner of $1.35 billion. We're all one, right? Isn't it? I'm sure this winner is going to share. So really being conscious of, as we get into this practice of owning that we are part of that divine that is all that is, that we have this ability to name and claim ourselves. This woman, Hala Pekarsky, she had been in the underground in World War II, a friend of mine in Canada, and she used to make up business cards about who she was at any one time, like, she's a visionary. And it didn't have to do with business, it just had to do with her self-identity at that time. She was so good on knowing who she was, and she would make business cards for it. Isn't that a delightful little talent to have? The other note on this is you do not have a soul. You are a soul who has a body and a personality. We often think about, I have this soul, like you could lose it. And don't we talk about that, losing your soul, But we are the soul expressing with this physical form. So there's this concept of metaphysics of the absolute, which is everything in the relative world. We live in this relative world where we judge things in relationship to something else. So our soul is part of the individual expression of the allness of God. Our personality is our ego. That is this changeable part of ourselves. The individuality of the God never changes. The wholeness never changes. The gifts that we have from God never changes, always there, but how we express it through our personality is what changes, what makes us different one from another. And sometimes we get that because we feel so individualistic, we don't relate that to as being separate, right? But that individual expression, just like a wave is an expression of the ocean. The wave knows it's still part of the ocean, but yet it shows up physically a little bit different. You know the imposter syndrome? This little cartoon is pretty tiny there. It says, I wish I had it all together like they did, but all of them are thinking that as they look by each other. The imposter syndrome, here's the definition, a psychological occurrence in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, accomplishments, and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. I remember doing this a couple times in my life when I got a job that was like my dream job. I'm 21 years old, and I'm thinking, something's going to happen here. I remember feeling it when I graduated from high school, that people really believe I'm a high school graduate or from a university, that, once you move to that next step. A big one is parents. I remember giving birth and thinking, oh my goodness, because my archetype of mom knew everything. And what I was really disappointed in was when I opened my purse that there wasn't Winter Mint Lifesavers in there and tissues. Because every mother in my family always had those in her purse, and I thought it just happened. I don't know. You gave birth and then the purse filled up. And there was this great fear of being exposed as a fraud as a mother. And I'm sure I'm not the only mother that has ever felt that you don't, who are you to be a mother? You are so limited in these resources. So it's those ideas that we have, these archetypes that we build up about us. So no wonder we have difficulty when I say to you, share what you like best about yourself. What's your best trait? And we all go, oh, can I say that out loud? Yeah. I mean, look how God is showing up in you. Because you have something great within you doesn't make anybody else's less. You are that individualized expression that's going to show up in personality. And isn't it fun to see this great variety of things that we have? Remembering that we are part of the divine. It says, I need to remind myself who I am. The letters of praise. I need to remind myself who I am. I am part of the divine. I am part of life. I am part of the universe. And the universe would be different, would not be the same, would be less than if we weren't here. I mean, to really accept that, things would be less than if we weren't here. Albert Einstein talks about the breadth of our lives, the interrelationship. He says, a human being is part of the whole, called by us the universe, limited in time and space. And boy, do we know those limitations. We're either we're trying to get someplace or we're trying to do something by a certain time, limited by the time and space that we've created, interestingly enough. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. Now, I don't know about you, but I find in my mind, I concept that God is everything, there's a spark of divinity in everybody, but then in parentheses is except me. Like I am the observer of all this wonderful stuff, and I can support it for each and every one of you. That you are a delightful creation, that you are just miracle walking. And then there's me. I mean, we all have this delusion of separateness. Everything is just God's grand plan and me. I suspect I'm not the only one. The delusion is a prison restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons close to us. Like we have this limited little tribe, right? Our task must be to free ourselves from our prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all humanity and the whole nature of its beauty. Yeah. Expand that circle of compassion. It's that difference between a singular existence, these silos, or this interdependent web of existence. And the more and more we find in science, we understand how interdependent this web is. You know, the old saying, the butterfly flaps its wings in China and there's a snowstorm in Canada. We know that there's this incredible cause and effect at the very minute levels even of humanity. So, a reminder that we're living in this relative world where we have this tendency to measure everything in relationship to something else. And that's what makes this limitation, this idea of separation, seem so real to us, so tangible to us. And I love this little guy here walking towards the light, which is not an oncoming train. You know, we're going through that tunnel. That light is not a train coming to take us down. Believe there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and believe that you might be that light for someone else. Looking at that picture, could you see yourself as a light coming forward? Could you see yourself being that infinite energy that is going to be there to lift somebody else up? You know, and part of this is because biologically we are wired for anything that is different from us for safety. When we were cave people, we needed to see the thing that moved in the brush. It might be a lion that's going to eat us. And so we have this old caveman biological wiring within our brain that we're always working to overcome. We have this tendency to look for the difference in others instead of what brings us together in this interconnected web. So not to be hard on ourselves, but to be awake to ourselves, knowing ourselves that we have this wiring that we don't need anymore. It's about the sameness, not about the differences. So it's part of our growth thing as being a human. And this whole idea of breath and somebody different, there's this wonderful story. If any of you see Pass It On, you know what Pass It On is? The billboards that are around town, they say kindness or confidence, and they have somebody there that we might know in a little story. Well, they put out a weekly story, and this story so touched me. There was this 11-year-old Jude Lovey, and Jude is an autistic young boy, and his family had just moved to Colorado, and as they're going through this one place, I can't remember where it was, And there was a piano there, and Jude went over and started playing the piano. Just started playing it. And this other man, Bill, heard him playing, and he recognized in him a talent, he said, of the level of Mozart. And Bill happens to be a piano tuner, and he arranged for a baby grand piano to be given to Jude, to have the piano tuned regularly, and even arranged to pay for him to have music lessons so he could really fine-tune his talent. That is living the breath of life. We have that ability to see, to be that light at the end of the tunnel for somebody else, right? To be that light. So let's affirm together. Today I encourage the talent, heart, and soul of others. I allow my belief in their abilities to lift up their belief in themselves. That's a great thing to go out in. Second, the breath of life, which is really what we talk about, this namaste, the practice of the breath of life, of being in community. And we know namaste means I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is of love, truth, light, and peace. When you are in that place, and here's the key, and I am in that place in me, we are one. So there's 4 lines here, or 3 lines, that are about the other person. But the key line is when I am in that place in me that is of love and truth and light, where the whole universe dwells. You see, we keep hearing the same message again and again and again. And I know for a fact that we cannot see in others what we can't see in ourselves. So if we want to really expand that idea of community, that connectedness, the breadth of our life, it is really our job to find that light within ourselves, to find that place where the whole universe dwells. I love this song, What If God Was One of Us? We used to sing it a lot up in Kitchener. You know, what if God is one of us, just a slob like one of us, though we used to sing had a job like one of us, just a stranger on the bus trying to make his way home. But it does make you start thinking about God differently and your relationship to God differently. So I took a little stab at changing the words. I said, what if I was one with God, instead of God was one with us, right? Just a thought that does not plod, the speed of light. Just a traveling little gnome, would I find myself at home? Would I find myself at home? Can I be at home with that thought that God is one of us? Third one, the height of light, how we connect with the transcendent. Jesus said, one who believes in me will also do the works I do, and in fact will do greater works than these. And then we go, except me. Right? It reminds me of the basic thing that really got me into New Thought, this awakening to the idea that we go through, when we're a kid, life happens. We don't think about it. Life just happens. We get fed, we get our diapers changed, we get a toy, we cry, we fall, whatever. It just happens. And then we start taking on the victimhood. Life happens to me. You will not believe what happened to me this week. You will not believe, yada, yada, fill in the blank. And as we grow through our spirituality, we start realizing that life happens through me. Well, I was a participant in that. This was not some random thing. There's not the big guy in the sky pointing his fingers and said, let's test Sharon today. No, it's something that we participate in until we finally have those moments where we get that life happens as us, that we truly are the hands and feet, the voice of God, of the divine, and work here on this planet. We are the hands. So, practicing the second principle of I am, a couple ideas for the week. Living the length of life, seeing the divine in the mirror. I was going to say, just breathe through it. This too is God. Live the breath of life, find the divine in others. Right? See it in us, find it in others, and then live in as and with it as the transcendent. With always living consciously with that flow of God. Easier said than done, but something to work on. With that, we're going to work on it with a little time in meditation. Listen to these words, too, as we're singing them, when you start thinking about the I am and the oneness of God.
I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. I want to know you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to see you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to hear you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to feel you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to praise you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to love you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I'm raising the veil.
I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. To take that moment to check in on your body. Allow yourself to breathe into your physical presence. Maybe you need to move your foot or your hands, allowing those muscles to be comfortable, to be at peace. You are fully supported. Physically, you're supported by your chair, the floor of this building, and this incredible planet Earth. Emotionally, you are supported by the divine presence surrounding you and within you. Bit by bit, we awaken to this realization, claiming even just a beam of that light that we are. Light, that which is the closest we can imagine to infinite. Light that we have slowed down to become manifest as this physical self, which belongs to our soul. Light, the vibration of our soul, the vibration of the trueness of us, the vibration of the ultimate peace, the absolute love, that which is worthy, that which is true, that which is infinite. So allow the words that I speak to become words of your own heart as I affirm this awakening for each of us. I live my life, but the life I live is not only my life. It is the life of the entire human and earth community. I live it the best I can. This is not a choice for me. It is a duty. Even more than a duty is simply the way I am, a human being endowed with a consciousness of oneness and belonging. I strive to live as an expression of the divine. Renewed in our relationship with ourselves, and with God. We may find our hearts filled with the deepest sense of gratitude for living this life, for being, and for awakening. And so it is. Amen.
Hallelujah, a word of praise, a word of praise to my God. Hallelujah, a word of praise, a word of praise to my God. Hallelujah. A word of thanks, a word of thanks to my God. Hallelujah. A word of thanks, a word of thanks to my God. Let every breath I breathe be sacred. Let every word I speak be true. Let every song I sing be holy and only bring me close to you. Let every breath I breathe be sacred. Let every word I speak be true. Let every song I sing be holy and only bring me close to you. Hallelujah. A blessed day, a blessed day with my God. Hallelujah. A blessed day, a blessed day with my God.
Thank you. Kind of reminded me, I often say I feel beside myself. And that's maybe the truth. What we're trying to do is not being beside ourselves, being ourselves. So, practice for the week. You might try while you're brushing your teeth. Look in the mirror. Are you looking at the core or the apple? Okay. With that, I'm going to bring Matt back up. Love his music.
This song is one I've never performed before, and in this way. So but my interest in it, in part, comes. It was written in 1970, I believe, and I think it's a prayer by somebody who had been part of one of the most successful bands in the world, and he also went on, I guess, a spiritual journey of some kind, and came back with strong beliefs. And he decided to write about it in songs. And this is George Harrison's tune, Give Me Love. with heart and soul. Thanks, George Harrison, yes?
This is the time during our Sunday service to engage in the sacred practice of generosity. Thank you for the continued support of Unity through many channels, electronically, by mail, and in person. Our circle of generosity includes acts of gratitude for these many gifts by sharing of our gifts with others. Right now, we are in the process for determining who will be the congregation's choice to receive a portion of our tithes for the first quarter of 2023. Let us take a moment to deeply immerse ourselves in gratitude, acknowledging our intimate connection with God by singing, "I Am So Blessed."
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
The circle of generosity is the sacred exchange of giving and receiving. We have each received blessings, and we complete the circle by sharing of our blessings. The gift I give is not a debt we owe, it is a seed we sow. We know and accept that our consistent generosity creates consciousness of abundance that attracts good to us now. However, we are sharing in person, online, by mail, or cell phone. Let's raise our hands to send loving energy symbolically, blessing our sacred exchange as we affirm together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I praise, give thanks, and am glad. And now let us stand as we are able as we sing our closing song, I Choose Love, followed by affirming the prayer for protection.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One tie that binds us that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace on the planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One tie that binds us that can't be undone. I choose love. I choose love. We choose love. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God is within us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.